guys, welcome to a new episode of Chica We Got This Pod. This is a very special beginning because it is the new era where we're going to be interviewing our beautiful Latinas off the Latina Follow Trend and Train. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. I've literally been so overwhelmed. I'm overbooked to the point where I'm like asking people like, yo, oh my God, bear with me. So, it's a huge, huge thing that's happening right now. And it's huge because I am able to put Latinas out on my platform and do exactly what I wanted to do in the beginning, was to just make a space for Latinas to feel safe and, to feel welcome and valued. And I'm able to do that directly. So like what's happening right now, it's impacting me in a way that's, I'm shook with you guys. I'm shook. So it's been amazing. And today's the first interview with our beautiful Diana Villarreal. And I'm so happy to have her here. She's the first one. And we're going to talk a little bit about each other. We're going to talk about what she's into, what got her there, and what is getting her, to keep going, and what is helping her grow and just become this beautiful woman. And so we're going to dive into that, and that's kind of what I'm going to do with all my girls that are going to hop in here. It's just a little girl chat, kind of like prima tu prima wine night. Even if there's no wine, there could be water, but it's good vibes here. And it's just for coffee. You got iced coffee? Heck yeah. I have my water porque tengo la garganta mala, pero point is that this is a girl to girl talk, and I'm so excited that you're here. So Diana, tell us about yourself. Give us a little run through.
All right. So I'm Diana, and I'm new to this whole podcast thing. I'm married. I've been married for over 11 years now. Yes, and I have three kids. You can't hear them because I was like, go play in your room and don't come out till I tell you to, okay? So I live in Arkansas, and I've been wanting to start, my own podcast, but for whatever reason, I hadn't done it. It was just in the back of my mind, and didn't really do it because I was scared, and not only scared, but also didn't know what goes down behind the scenes. Like, what do I need? Mm-hmm. How do I put it out there? How do you release it? How do you record it? What do you, everything. And, but anyways, that's it. More?
No, you're good. You're good. We just want to know a little about you. So that is awesome. 11 years though. Go you, girl. Go you, girl. I'm gonna ask you what makes it last so long. And you're in Arkansas. That's amazing. So any girlies in the future that hear this, if you're in Arkansas, reach out to our girl Diana. And we were talking about you having a podcast, and you're new to the podcast world. So bienvenidas. You have take up your space, girl. Take up your space. So tell us about that. What got you to start this podcast? First of all, what is it? What is it about? And just a little of what got you to this point of following through and putting it out there.
So like I mentioned earlier, for a while now, I've been wanting to start my own podcast, but whatever reason, I didn't do it. Then finally I was like, you know what, 2023, this is my year. I'm going to do it. 2023, I have several goals that I have put out there for myself. And I'm like, I need to just do it. Mm-hmm. And then February was starting to creep up, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't started. And I'm like, I can't let February begin and me not start it, because then March is going to be here. And then the next thing you know, it's going to be June. Y otra vez, otro año down, out the window. Yep. So, but backtrack a little bit. I had talked over with I have two of my greatest friends who we've been really best friends for over 10 years. And I was telling them my idea of starting a podcast. And then as I was talking with them, I'm like, why don't we start a podcast together and call it I don't know. We came up with a bunch of names. Finally, Latinas Real Talk came to life, and that's what we stuck with. Latinas Real Talk. And pretty much it's just me and two of my great friends, Claudia and Gabby, who are going to get together, and we're going to talk about things that we have lived through, together and alone, personal stories that have been very exciting, very hard struggles. First generation Mexican daughters out here trying to survive and be the daughter slash mother of the younger children
Yeah.
of the house. And so that's like some of the topics we want to talk about, just first generation Mexican daughters, and how a lot of people, because we have friends who don't do a lot of the things that we do for their parents, and they're like, well, why do you do that? Like, why do you go to your dad or your mom's doctor's appointment? And I'm like, because I'm translating. Because they don't have nobody to translate for them. Or why are you going to your brother's parent teacher conference? Because I'm the mom. I'm
I'm the
slash
mother.
mom.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
And so stuff like that. We want to talk about, like, we've going through our weight loss journey, and so we want to put that out there. Also, we've dealt through infertility together, because we've all struggled to get pregnant, start a family. And that's a very, very strong topic that a lot of people, especially I feel like Latinas, do not talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just want to put our story out there. How? Don't give up. I mean, the day is coming.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to share a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a very important topic. And I'm really glad that you are taking that step, because I remember I had a live last night and some girls were like, I'm a mom and I would really like us to talk about PPD, like postpartum depression. That's not talked about enough, and especially in comunidades Latinas, because they're like, what is depression? I don't, and they don't recognize that as a thing. So, I'm totally so excited for you. And I really think it's awesome that you guys are doing this. And maybe next time we can have all the girls on.
Yes. This was definitely one of those, like, should I do it? And then whenever I clicked on your link and then saw the dates, I was like, oh, she has an opening tomorrow. Should I do it tomorrow? And then I'm like, no, I should wait. Maybe I should do it in 2 weeks. And then I was like, mañana, because es como the podcast, nunca lo vas a hacer. I was like, tomorrow it is.
Exactly. And that's how kind of where I am right now, where I was like, I cannot skip on this. I cannot, like, this is happening live, like all this trend is happening live. And if I miss out, I'm going to regret it so much. And I tell my friends, I'm like, y'all, it feels like God or angels literally handed me the one thing that I was like, I don't know what to do about this podcast, because I cannot talk to myself. No puedo. No, de verdad, ¿qué te tengo yo que decir? That's gonna help you. Like, unless I Google it, I don't know.
That's what I was telling one of my friends last night, because not last night, before I started the podcast. I hung out with this friend last night, but I was telling them that in the beginning, I wanted to start the podcast yo sola. Pero como dices tú, ¿y qué voy a hacer? I was like, ¿qué voy a estar platicando yo sola? I said, I mean, I'm used to doing that on my own, but like...
Yeah, what am I gonna tell you? Like, it can't, it's just, and it's what seems to be successful right now is groups and like more than one person. It seems to be the thing now. So I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we did this, because girl, y'all would still not hear me out here. But I tried it. I gave it a try by myself, and it was just so robotic and like, so it just, I didn't want to listen to it. I was like, if I don't want to listen to it, why would I think that another Latina would? And they have, and I'm so grateful. But I feel like they deserved better. I was like, you guys deserve better. So I did this, and I'm glad I did, because I'm meeting great people, and people who are doing kind of the same stuff, and we can all connect. So this is amazing. So definitely bring them out. We're gonna have another meeting. Bring them out so we can all talk. And maybe I could be a part of yours. I'll be like, oh my God, what is it like to have a Latina Real Talk? So I would love that. So guys, if you want to listen to her podcast, check it on Spotify and follow her on Instagram, both but under the same name, Latina Real Talk. So apart from the podcast, tell me something that you kind of got into, like ¿Qué más tú haces? What do you put time and energy and effort into that's not family? Maybe what do you do for work? What do you put your energy into that makes you who you are and makes up your schedule?
Well, work definitely takes a lot of my schedule, a lot of my day.
Yeah.
I work at a pediatrician's clinic. And so, we see a lot of newborns and a lot of sick babies, but
Right.
it's so fun. I enjoy it. But really, really, what I'm really putting a lot of my energy towards right now is working out. Okay. I would
Yes.
never, 2 years ago, last year, Diana, me, nada que ver with working out. Okay.
Get
But
out.
goals 2023, I was like,
This is our year.
I need to because see, no, also I have lost some weight. And so I'm like, I don't want to go back to where I began. So I need to start working out. And so I wake up at 4:20 every morning, not every morning, sorry, take that back. 4:20, 3 days a week, 3 days a week to head to the gym, work out, come home, get my kids breakfast ready, get myself ready for work, wake them up, get them dressed, feed them breakfast, and then let's head on to school and work.
Oh
So,
my gosh, you're a beast.
girl, I don't even know. I was telling one of the girls at my job about, because they were like, oh, we should do something. I'm like, hold on, let me take my calendar out, and I'm like, oh, I can't. And they're like, you really have everything there? I say, yes, because if I don't keep up with it, I'm going to tell you I'm going to show up and I'm not. I'm going to say I'm going to do something and I'm not. And I hate being that type of person. Like if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. If I told you that I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. And it really does like kind of put me in a sad mood whenever I don't follow through with what I say. And so that's why I
Mhm.
have to keep it up, keep my calendar, everything. So you were on there today. I'm like,
Yay.
show up. But
Yay, I'm so excited.
yeah, it's busy. It's a busy lifestyle. Oh, and I have, Mike, I told you I have 3 kids and they're 7, 8, and 6. So it's 6, 7, and 8.
Oh my Lanta
So they're
girl.
little. They're not like babies, but they're still little kids. And so they
A
definitely need
handful.
me. They definitely, yes, very, very much handful.
Do they do any sports?
Oh, yes.
I
Más cosas que ponerle al schedule. Yes, they do like ninja classes. You know how American Ninja Warrior, they do something like that, and then they do Taekwondo. And
Mhm.
my daughter does gymnastics. So yes. And then my daughter wants to
Dang.
add piano. I'm like, no, girl, pick one. Either you do, because she does
Uno a la vez.
Taekwondo. She does Taekwondo and gymnastics, not on the same day, but she does 2 things. And she wants to add piano. And so I'm like, nah, either let go of one or we could do that next year when you get tired of these.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have a
Dang. Well,
husband.
I mean, thankfully they're aligned. So,
Yeah.
Taekwondo and gymnastics, she's getting real physical, which is great for her body and her
Yeah.
growth. So that's awesome. But girl, you're a girl boss.
And then you add the
Girl
husband
boss.
to the mix. Ay, Dios mío.
Ay,
No,
no, no,
no,
no, no, no.
no.
Ese otro niño.
For real. For real. Except he can stay
It
home by
really is.
himself and I could go to the store and do whatever I want.
Yeah, dame mi tiempo solita.
Mm-hmm.
Solita. Awesome. So, okay, girl, dang, go you. Go you. Go
I don't
off.
even know how I
A
get
lot of
through some
moms.
days.
What helps you? Like, is there something that you do that you're like, okay, cuando la cosa está mala, tengo que tal?
Cry. Don't be afraid to let the tears out because you can't keep it in, okay? You can't keep it in because that's gonna make it
No,
worse.
I'm dead. I love this. I love this. Cry.
No, pero
Period.
aside from that, because that's for real what I do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I actually make it a point to go either to the gym or go run around, walk or run around my neighborhood. Cause I'm like, it gives me that time to be by myself and like, okay, take charge. What's going on? What are you doing? And time to focus, refocus. And so that's what helps me. That's why I think now that I'm in that point where I'm into the exercising and walking and stuff. Because in the beginning, that was like putting me in a bad mood. Pero now, eso es lo que me ayuda to balance myself. Because I'm like, okay, now I can go home. And then I'm like, good morning. It's time for school.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you have a good night? Unlike, wake up. Let's go. Come on, brush your teeth.
I'm dead. So how long have you been working out? Because it takes a long time not a long time, but at least for me, it takes a minute for me to get consistent and get to a point where I'm like, I love the gym.
I started just with walking. Like, I made it a point to myself to start walking at least 30 minutes every day. And so I started with walking 30 minutes every day. And then I started like pushing myself to, okay, maybe you should jog, which I still don't jog or run. Like, nada que ver. Like, I probably walk 2 houses and I'm done. I mean, run 2 houses and I'm like, I'm done. So I'm still not like a runner, so don't invite me. I ain't coming running with you. But it's just pretty much, that's how I started, walking 30 minutes every day. And then little by little, I also was doing keto at the time. And so it helped me lose weight. And I have not talked about this on my podcast yet, but it's going to be like my weight loss journey. So just the dieting and the exercising and then the more weight I was dropping, the easier it got. And so that's what helped me, just because I wasn't as heavy as I used to be. And then of course, seeing my reflection in the mirror, I like what I was seeing. So I'm like, I gotta keep going. For
Let's
more.
do it.
Pero
yeah,
that's just what motivated me.
Yeah. And are you still in keto?
I'm not. I started keto this year again. Well, not keto, more like low carbing, because keto is, the keto community is like, that's not keto. I'm like, okay, sorry, I'm low carb.
They're so strict. Any diet is just like so set in the boundaries. And I'm like, oh my God, what is keto like though? What does keto require?
Pretty much it's just no eating all the Hispanic Mexican food. No arroz, no frijoles, no pan, no tortillas, none of that good stuff that we used to eating.
Yo me voy a morir. I cannot do it. I cancel keto. No, we're done. Conmigo no.
We're in February. Ya dejé de hacer keto, low carb.
Yeah.
I'm no longer low carbing, but I still watch, like, if my kids are like, I'm hungry, let's go to McDonald's, and I'm like, I don't want McDonald's. Like, that's not healthy. Come on. And there's 3 of them, 1 of me. I give up. I'm just like, fine, we're going. And I'll order something from there, and I'll just eat the meat. It's not what they call like dirty keto. It's not really healthy, but it's better than eating the whole thing.
Literally, like,
but it is hard.
Be happy that I'm still trying.
It's hard. Yes, I'm still trying. So I'm not ketoing, but I still watch what I eat.
That's awesome. So you really got out of that, something out of that experience of keto. So there's been a change, which is awesome. Very happy for you. And what about when it comes to growing up, was that like a problem, like foods, eating, and have you ever had that experience where like your parents or familia, they're just like having comments, having a lot to say about what you eat, what you do?
As I was growing up? No, but it was more like, we have food, you got to eat your food. You can't, there's kids in Mexico que no tienen que comer. You have to eat, like, whatever was served, you eat it. And then kind of like, even when you're invited to somebody's house, like, you eat what they served you out of respect. And to a point, we did it. I did it growing up. And I'm just now thinking about that. I'm like, But that wasn't really healthy because if I'm full, I'm full. Why should I finish what's on the plate? But it's just
Literally.
put into your mind that te comes lo que te sirvieron, no faltes el respeto, no seas una niña así, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But I think I'm not saying that that's what probably got me to where I was, but that's the only thing that I could think of. Just pretty much my parents are like, finish what was served on your plate. And I'm like, that's a lot for a kid.
That is a lot for a kid. I went out to visit a friend in his house, and he made me un salvadoreño, and he made me like a beautiful breakfast plate. Oh my God, qué cosa más buena. Like the cheese. Mwah. So I was like, I saw the plate and I was like, okay, I don't think he knows my serving size. Y me sirvió un montón. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna try. And I start eating, and then he goes like, and he like made a comment of like that, like you gotta eat it all. And I grew up with that as well. Que tú estás en casa ajena y te sirven comida, you eat it all. Um, but he made that comment, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta eat it all. Y yo salí con un dolor de barriga. Yo salí enferma. I'm a tiny, yo soy 4'11", so I'm tiny. And you serve me a big person plate, I cannot fit that, but I have to because that comment, and in my head I'm like, mi mama would be so pissed if I don't finish this plate, and it looks so good. And I was like, oh my God, I was just overwhelmed. And I agree. I don't think that should be a thing anymore. Si no me cabe, no me
Yeah.
cabe. I don't think any less of you, and I don't feel any less respect.
And it
It's just
doesn't mean you
I
didn't love
respect
the
my body
food.
too. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where that came from, back in our ancestors' days. I don't know where that came from, but maybe because they didn't have, maybe, no sé, maybe they didn't have any. And so what was brought to you, like they wasted, or like they spent
Yeah.
their hard-earned money to make you a meal. So you should eat it
Mm-hmm.
because they made it, they
It
bought it.
costs.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
cost them money. I mean, I'm not
Maybe we're
saying
going back with these $5 eggs.
for
Maybe we're
real.
going back. You better eat them eggs because that cost me a lot.
My husband actually knows this guy who has chickens, and so I was like, oh, he went to the grocery store. We had an ice storm here this
Oh
last
my.
week, and I was like, go to the store, get eggs, milk, bread. And he
Everything.
was like, wait, I have a friend, I'm gonna call him, it's probably cheaper with him. And I'm like, oh, okay. We over here hustling for huevos, where they at?
Literally get the Webmo plug. That is funny. I'm done. So okay, so tell me a little more about what life was for you growing up, because I know that for me at times I felt, well, more when I moved out of Puerto Rico and I came to Georgia, I felt very much outcast, and just I didn't see that many Hispanics around me, and it just, it was too obvious at the point when I moved. And I just want to see, like, if you went through something like that, and maybe something that happened that kind of shifted your view, or just shifted something inside of you when you were growing up, or when you were like already like, a teenager. Is there something that kind of put a stamp on your life that said, boom, esto dice, I am Latina, I'm Hispanic, I this is me, and this is something I went through as a Latina that impacted me?
um Well, I remember, I don't know about you, but my parents moved I was born and raised, well, I was born in Mexico and was brought to the US when I was 5. So pretty much I've been here all my life. I grew up in Houston, and then when I was around 9 or 10, we moved to Arkansas. When I moved to Arkansas, the culture shift, the culture definitely hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Houston is like little Mexico. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Hispanics. Everybody speaks Spanish. Muchas tiendas mexicanas, restaurantes mexicanos, everything. we moved to Arkansas, and if I remember correctly, I was the second Mexican or Hispanic kid in the elementary school. I was two. So before I came along, there was just one. Yeah.
And they weren't even in like the same class or anything.
We ended up being in the same class. Yeah. And
yeah,
me and her ended up being in the same class. And so the culture shock didn't happen till pretty much when I was like 9 or 10. And then of course, because we were the only Hispanics, we were pretty much raised and hanging out with nothing but American friends. So we became very Americanized.
yeah,
And as I grew, that's pretty much what we grew up with. And of course, more Hispanics started coming in. But it was probably till like middle school that I started seeing maybe like 4 or 5 Hispanics. And then we ended up moving in, within cities in the state of Arkansas. And so it just depended where I went. Like we lived in DeQueen, Arkansas for a period of like 6 months. And there was a lot of Hispanics there. In that city, I was like, wow, there's nothing but Mexicans here. But again, like I had come from a school where there was only five of us.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what? Yeah. But I only lived there for a short time. And then went back to another school where there was nothing but, only English speaking American community. And so it wasn't until my, I want to say my probably 20s that I was like, I am Latina, I am Mexican, as much as I didn't want to be, because we were the out culture. Like we weren't we weren't nothing, to me, because I didn't grow up. There's not many of us. And so finally I was like, but I am Hispanic and I am Mexican. And I guess what came into that was just the fact that my siblings were growing up the same way that I was growing up. And then I was starting to see them kind of react different, like didn't really want to like go do Hispanic things, like things that were like in our culture. They didn't want to do that because they were like, no, that's Mexican, like, and would make an ugly face about it. And I'm like, but what do you mean? Like,
you are Mexican, what do you mean?
And then I got to thinking, and I'm like, but I was there, that was me when I was their age, when I was them. And now I guess seeing it from now that I was an older person, an older girl, I was like, man, no, we're going to change this. And that's pretty much what kind of got me to switch, just by seeing the younger generation, even though I'm sure that I lived it and I was probably the same attitude as them, but because I was living through it, I was like, wait, what? And I think getting other Hispanic friends and other Mexican friends who were very, very like loving of who they are and where they come from. And so I learned from them, and I'm like, but if they love it, why not me? And if I mean, what is really, really get down to it, what's the issue? There is no issue. It's just that there's not many, well, at least for me, there wasn't many of us. And so I was like, I don't want to be different. I want to be like everybody else. And now we're like, I don't want to be like nobody else. I want to be different.
No me quite mi bandera, que eso es mío. I understand. Yeah, I'm sure that growing up, did you ever have to face like anything like people saying, oh, you've gotten Americanized, Yeah.
I have, especially when I try to speak Spanish to my Mexican family. They're like, ay, Dios mío, esta niña no habla español porque no le enseñaron. But it's because the same thing. I grew up with nothing but, Americans, English speaking people. And so the only people that spoke Spanish were my parents. And so at home, we would speak Spanish. But as soon as you would step out, it was nothing but English. So it's not that my parents didn't teach us, or it's not that I didn't want to learn, but it's kind of like, si lo pones al revés, if you want to learn English, if you don't submerge yourself in the community, in the language, with the people, you're not really going to pick it up. You'll know little words here and there, but you're not really going to pick it up. So that's pretty much, I mean, for me, just a, family who are like, girl, why don't you speak any good Spanish? I'm like, I'm trying. Sorry.
I'm doing my best. Literally, you
Listen,
didn't grow up in that
and when I
environment.
try extra hard, como que la riego más.
And, okay, so I would love to know a little more about you, like what you're like. So I'm gonna ask you a few rapid little questions and just hit me with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
I'll do like 5 or 6 questions.
Cool.
So, how do you respond to criticism?
Literally, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, is it negative or positive criticism? Either way, criticism is criticism. Honestly, I take it. I take it into consideration. I process it, and then either I laugh about it or I learn from it.
Okay. So how, like, what is one lesson that you are very like, I need my kids to know this?
That they are Hispanic, that they have Mexican blood
Yes.
in them, because como te digo, growing up being the only Hispanic in my school, and then my siblings also, I don't want them to be ashamed of who we are.
Yeah.
And even though I'll tell them and they're like, no, but I'm not Mexican. I'm like, yes, you are. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, so
Yeah.
there's so little, and yet they already tell me, but I'm not. And I'm like, but yes, you are.
Yeah, they're already taking sides
Mm-hmm.
at a young age. So that's how you see that they're like surrounded by a type of environment that kind of is trying to put them in a box, and specifically one that is not,
Mm-hmm.
like Hispanic or anything else.
So I
It
want,
needs to be very mainstream.
yeah, so definitely I want to teach them about our culture and where we came from, where we're at, and where we're going.
Yes. That's beautiful. I love that. So, what is the biggest obstacle that you're currently facing?
Biggest obstacle would probably be finding the time to learn new things, because I am new to podcasting. I don't know
Mhm.
a thing about podcasting. Okay. So in a way, I think that's probably what was stopping me from starting my own podcast or the podcast with my friends, because we didn't know anything. We didn't know how do you upload it? What kind of mic do you need? Do we need a camera or not? Do you need, headphones? Who's gonna edit it? Do we need to edit it? Do we need music? How do you add music? And like
Yeah, so
time,
much.
it takes so much time to learn, to Google things like help. So that's a lot of time consuming, but I love it. I love it because it's something that I'm into.
Yay. Yes, and as you kind of go through it, you'll learn more, and it really takes trial and error.
Mhm.
Like as I said, it's been very overwhelming having all the girls book time with me, and I've learned I cannot interview 5, 6 people in one day. I cannot. I've learned that the hard way because I saw my schedule and I was like, me voy a morir. Empiezo a las 2 y termino a las 9. ¿Cómo yo voy a poder hacer eso? You
¿Cuándo vas
know?
a comer?
So, exacto, cuando voy a comer. So I've definitely learned my lessons, and I'm hoping that my Latinos are cooperative and helpful and understand that this is so new to me and so fast. So you really live and learn, and I've changed my brand too. No, your things are gonna change. I
Yes.
started off as Superate Princesa.
Okay.
That was how it all started. And I think I was posting on another platform, Buzzsprout. I was posting on that platform, not as friendly and more for beginners as Anchor. So had to make that change the whole brand, change the whole, like, just everything. So changes are coming, but you'll live and you'll learn. And I'm thinking of having a little episode where we're just going to talk about podcasting, because I've seen so many girls that want to get into it and are in it, and I think it would be good to get together and
Teach each other some
talk
stuff.
about it. Exactly. Teach each other stuff and learn what one does, and maybe we can make those changes ourselves.
Mhm.
So, another question I have is, what are you most grateful for in life?
My kids.
Yeah.
I struggled with trying to get pregnant for 5 years. And
Wow.
when it finally happened, I'm very, very grateful that I now am able to, raise my children. My
Yeah.
boys, okay, in the beginning, I told you their age, and I have twin boys. But my boys, and this is a different topic, different story. My twins are
Yeah.
born 12 days apart. So they don't share the same birthday. Yeah. So one
¿Cómo
just
fue
turned
eso?
8, but the other one is still 7.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so the twins are my first kids that I had. And so I'm
Yeah.
very, very grateful. I definitely, my husband and I went through some hard times, sad
Yeah.
times, but I'm very grateful for their lives.
What helped you kind of get through those sad times? Like, what helped both of you kind of push through apart from each other?
Honestly, it would be God. Putting our faith in God and trusting Him. If it wasn't for our faith in God, then I don't know. Because I have a friend who told me, if you lose your faith, then you lose it all. And so that's what really helped. Of course, my community, my church friends, my family, my friends, my circle of community is what helped me get through it. But mostly, definitely my God.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm glad it kept you strong. I'm actually reading a book called Have a Little Faith,
Mhm.
by Mitch Albom. And it's really just like kind of what it's like, that is just have at least a little bit, and that can really hold you to get to where you need to go. And then when you really hold on to even just a little bit, it opens a door for you don't even know what. So that's awesome. I'm very glad that you guys have made it through, and now you got three very, very busy boys.
Well, 2 boys and a little girl. But yes,
Oh, you
3
have
kids.
two boys and a girl.
Yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Is there one that's the most like you, most like your husband?
definitely. My daughter definitely has my attitude. You know that meme, like you prayed for your daughter, but didn't want her to get your attitude.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
definitely a mini me. And I love it. I mean, sometimes I'm like, girl, you better step down girl, stop. But at the
Calm
same
down.
time, I'm like,
Yeah.
she's feisty. I like it.
Yeah. Salió, would you say you're like that? Salió como tú?
Yeah. As much as I
Yeah.
don't want to admit it, yes.
I'm dead. Yeah, yo salí igualita a mi mamá. She does not like it, but I'm like, mami, no sé qué decirte. Yo soy tú y tú eres yo. Así que we're just gonna go with it. So we bump heads a lot of times, but
Yes. People
you
tell me the
know,
same thing. They're like, oh my God, you sounded just like your mom. Oh my God, you literally, it's like talking to your mom. And I'm like, really? No.
right? I think we're very different. Yes. I've had to like, there's people that are telling me, te pareces a tu mamá cada día más. And I'm like, that in ways, in some days, it's a compliment. And in other
Yes.
days, no lo aprecio porque hay cosas que ella tiene que, I'm like, mom, let's do better. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do better.
Same.
And
I
other
feel
things that
you.
I'm just like, I just want to be just like you, mom. Like my mom has the fashion sense. She wears the coolest things. Everyone gives her compliments on her looks. So I would like to be more like that because I dress like a hobo. Like I have no fashion sense. I really don't care how I look. So I want to be more like her in that sense, but there's other things that I'm just like, let me be the healed version of you. So I get it. I do want to ask more about kind of what do you want to do in this world? Like what do you want to be remembered by? What do you want your friends to remember you from? And kind of walking into this world, um you've done a lot, you've been through a lot, and when you're leaving, what's something that just you'll never forget?
Wow. I would love for people to know that no matter who you were, where you came from, how you live, no matter, who it is, I loved, because I'm a people person and I love people. And it doesn't matter to me, like, your background, you know, how you were brought up. A lot of people even say, like, oh, I can't believe you're friends with this person, because they're like, they don't believe in God, but you're a Christian. How? And I'm like, because I love them for them. And then I was like, yes, they don't, we believe in different things, but at the end of the day, I was put in this world to love you. And so I just want people to remember how much I love them and how I cared for people. Sometimes I didn't love as I should, and maybe I didn't care as I should, but for the most part, I try.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I mean, working at a pediatrician's office, you got to be sweet, you got to be kind.
Yes, we
Yeah, so that's
do.
awesome. I'm sure they're going to remember you just like that. I know I will. I know I will. So, tell me, what's one thing that like you kind of like, what's helping you right now putting yourself out there? What's helping you get to your goals? And um as you said, that you want to talk about how it's never too late to start your goals. Like, what's helping you and what do you think you're missing?
Oh, um, definitely what's helping me a lot is surrounding me with friends who help me become better, be a better person, be, a, a better wife, better mom, better friend. That's was helping me grow, move on. Was that your question?
Yes, yes. Like, what's helping you and what do you think is putting you behind?
Oh, what's putting me behind is probably my own laziness when I don't want to get up and go. But then
Yeah.
I have that friend. Like, if I don't get up, if I don't feel like working out today, I have that friend texting me at 4:20. Are you up? Are you coming? Am I going to see you there? And I'm just like, oh, leave me alone.
Fine, I'll be there.
Or, whenever you have those moments where you don't want to go nowhere, don't want to do nothing, don't want to see no one, but you have that
Yeah.
friend who clicks with you and know that something's up, and it's like, hey, let's go grab
Mhm.
coffee, and you're like, no thanks, I'm busy. No, I'm gonna come pick you up, let's go grab coffee.
Yes,
But
yes.
I mean, just pretty much that's what's stopping me, the laziness, and then of course that's it.
You have a lot on your plate already, so sometimes you just want to not. You
Sometimes I
just
want to
want
be
to not.
lazy. That is what I'm going for. Esa es mi meta.
Yeah, sometimes it's on purpose. Sometimes it's on purpose. So I get you. I have days where I'm just like, I know I have plans, but if I do that, I'm gonna come out shattered. Like, I'm gonna come out hecha pedazos. And because when I dive into those times where estoy hecha pedazos and I just can't keep going, that's gonna run over to the next day. So I'll wake up tired as heck, and I'm just like, I'd rather prepare and know what my limits are and adjust accordingly than like try it and come out and knowing no iba a salir bien y boom, no salió bien. So totally understand, but having a friend to support you is huge.
which
I
is
think,
which is um part of a big on my podcast, is part the big
yeah.
thing about having my friends with us, because we have pushed each other to do things that we would never do alone, and we have gone through things with each other that I think couldn't have, again, would never survive on my own, and so
Yeah.
that's why we decided to do the group podcast, because I'm like, everybody needs to find their circle. Like that is if anything you need to do right now is find your circle, find your people, and stick with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have my girl Shania. She's my other half. Without her, I wouldn't have made it through so many things. And that's the person that's like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, she told me today, she was like, Mari, sometimes I want to get in your head and just like tap and be like, is there someone there? Because I'd be going so on off hinge and then like, yes. So having those friends are huge, and they make you a better person too.
Yeah.
They help you understand. And a good friend, I feel like it kind of requires a little like kind candor, just like a little tough love. And they do it out of love. It's not that they don't think you should change or stuff like that. It's just they really want to see you succeed, and they're just gonna find a kind way to be like, yo, te está pasando, or you're not doing enough, or like, I know you can do better, I know you know. So for all our new Latina friends out here, as we're closing this episode, take all the time you need to tell us what can help our Latina community get to where we want to go, and kind of a tip, like danos esas palabras que we need from you specifically, based on what you've been through. What can you tell us to help us be better Latinas, better girls, better friends? Like, just what can help us? Like, let me know, because as a friend, I just want to hear that little kind candor from you.
Yeah, I'm definitely done with that chismosa negativity. Sit down and let's just chismear about other people and talk about other people and like put down other people. No, let's move out of that and let's help build people, help build better Latinas. So definitely let us know how we can help build each other up and not down.
Exactly. That's one thing I see in Latina communities. I experience this in Puerto Rico very often. I don't know if in other countries they're the same, but in Puerto Rico, you can walk in a club and they're gonna look at you up and down and be like, ¿Y quién se cree esta? And you walk on este flow como que, va a tener la mejor noche. It's gonna be so much fun. And they're just like, and you are? Y te miran así para arriba y para abajo. And I'm just like, we could all get to our goals. I'm not trying to take over your spot. I can lift you up and you can lift me up, and we can both get to where we're going. So if you were a little less negative and a little more supportive, the world might just be a little better. So I see that. I really think that sometimes I refer to chisme, but I don't have anyone to chismear about, and I don't have anything to say. I'm very much like, I don't want to talk about others, because that's going to come back to me. That's going to come back to me, whatever you put out there. So I remember I did a TikTok where I was like picking up my girls to go talk chisme. I really just want some friends to talk, because the girls that I'm connecting with, I know that it's meant for good things.
Yeah.
So let's move out of that. I agree. Let's move out of chisme and more into just bonding and supporting each other. So yes, let's do that. But I am so grateful that you are here and that you took the time, and you were the first one. What? So Diana, you're gonna be in my heart forever. Forever.
Not
so
me.
I'm so grateful you were here. Yes.
Not
and
me
I cannot
out of my
wait.
Comfort zone.
Yes. Now you know a little more too about doing it virtually.
Yeah.
So if your girls are ever apart, you can still stay consistent with your posting times and stuff, and do it through Zoom. I swear it's very easy, and I'm using Calendly to book all these appointments, and it connects to Zoom and Google like directly. So like everything is just, I open it and it's just there.
That's cool.
So yes. So I'll let you know when I do another episode for just podcasting. And you're welcome to join us at our we have an episode for moms, and we would love to have you so you can talk about your experience, so all the moms that are getting together can learn a little more and feel a little less alone with what they're going through and what they went through.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so grateful that you were here. Thank you so much. All of our listeners, chicas, go follow Latinas Real Talk on Instagram and listen to their episodes on Spotify. Show them some love. Let them know, hey, te escuché en el podcast and I cannot wait. And yeah, show them some love. So
Yes,
Diana,
come
thank you
our
for being
way.
here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting yourself out there. That made me put myself out there. And now here we are
Right,
collabing.
right.
Who would have ever thought?
Right. I literally in a million years, I was like, the word collab, I felt like I wouldn't hear that in years. Seriously, years. And now like people, I'm like, you want to collab, you want to collab, you want to be part of this. And
it's
now I'm just
it's
like,
a word in
what?
your vocabulary now.
Yes, it's a word in my vocabulary. So it's definitely all so new. I'm still like, te digo, like I think my sickness went on for a week because of all the just like I work full time, and although I do work from home, I'm sitting there, I'm working. I'm not like,
Yeah.
viendo televisión chilling out. It's and then I get off, I have to eat and I have to move my body, and I come back and I'm just like my TikTok's blowing up, and I'm just like in the computer trying to get everything done. So I feel like that made it kind of longer, and I me pongo más enferma because I'm up all night. So but my girls are worth it. My girls are worth it. That is totally fine. So yes, thank you so much for being here, and I really hope that we can do this again soon. And I can't wait to listen to your episode. I'm going to put that on my Spotify and share it as well so all other girls can know, cuz I've connected with podcasts, and maybe we could have a podcast reunion sometime.
Let's do it.
Yes, yes. So thank you for being here. And chicas, remember to follow me on Instagram, chica we got this underscore pod, and check out my episodes on Spotify and YouTube. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Mwah. Muchos besos.